go ahead and jump into nerd news. A lot of really cool stuff that we have here. Adnan, do you mind if I take this first piece, dude?
Yep, go for it.
Sweet. So this first piece, very interesting, and I felt it was more an interesting piece to see how Adnan and I interpret it, as whatever. I'll just let the article speak for itself. So, Rise of the Tomb Raider's game length on the main campaign has been revealed recently. An interview with Mike Brinker, who is the lead designer on Rise of the Tomb Raider, confirmed what the main campaign's length will be. So this is what he said. He said, expect to spend around 30 to 40 hours getting everything done. That is gathering every weapon, ability, and completing every side quest. It all comes down to how you want to play through the game. Running through the game will take you around 15 to 20 hours. So expect double the playtime collecting everything and exploring every secret tomb. In terms of scale, all of our hub spaces, the areas that allow you to explore and choose your own way to play, have been increased by 3 times the size. So basically, if you don't do any of the side quests, the game is 15 to 20 hours long. But if you want to do the side quests, you want to, make your, get all the weapons and abilities and all that, it's going to take you 30 to 40 hours. A lot of people got angry about this. I was seeing some, not from Gamer Headlines, but on other parts of the internet, I was reading comments and going to, forums and stuff. And yeah, people were really upset about this. And I guess at the point of my life, 15 to 20 hours, that's like an average for a game. I don't think it's little. I think that's average. That'll probably take me with how I work and stuff 2 weeks to beat, more than likely. So I don't know. I don't think it's that much of a big issue. I mean, what's your take on it, dude? Is that a good length for you?
Yeah, I don't know why people try and stretch things out for no reason. With Tomb Raider, I think more or less anything it needs a kind of cohesive story and just fluid and not kind of. I don't like games that put filler segments in.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it. Same with TV shows. I can understand why they're doing it, but at the same time, it really irritates me. So I'm just keep the flow going and don't interrupt it too much. And yeah, I think that's a perfect length. I don't think it needs to be any longer than that. I think when you, I think the Phantom Pain is an example of that. I think they stretch the game out too much in that.
Yeah. Just
for the sake of getting people to play. I will play a game again once it has. If it's good enough for me in one playthrough, I'll keep playing it. But if it has so many reasons for me to just to kind of stretch out time, no point for me to do that. Same with the Batman Arkham Knight as well, the fact that they put Riddler trophies in there to unlock the final part with Riddler.
Yeah.
I was I might have done that afterwards, but the fact that you're actually making me to do that to unlock the to fight Riddler and then unlock the true ending, I'm fuck that, I'm done, I don't care, stop wasting my time with that kind of stuff. And with Tomb Raider, it's definitely one of my hit list games I need to buy. I'm definitely excited for it, and I think from what I've heard, that sounds fine to me.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more later on. There's other things I want to say. I'm excited too, and this is a recent development. I actually wasn't excited for this game for a while, but recently I've gotten really excited about Tomb Raider. But yeah, I agree. I think it's a good time. I think it works out, and but to each his own. Some people have. I know when I was in college, I had a lot more free time, and in between classes, in between exams and whatnot. And I was I remember a game being 15 hours long. I'm bullshit, or 10 hours. I'm no, 8. 8 was the kiss of death. I'm fuck you, 8 hours, horrible, fuck you. I'm not gonna give you my $60. Whatever. And I guess it just depends on how people play. Because if you really plow through something, of course it's gonna take you that long to beat. I plowed through Phantom Pain really quickly, and I beat it within a week, I think. And dude, you appreciated the game. You let it, you played it. I was Gollum from Lord of the Rings, so I'm not gonna, But, you, played it, normally, and it took you, a good amount of time. It took you, 2.5 weeks or something, I think? Roughly?
What, with Tomb Raider?
No, with...
Phantom Pain?
Yeah, Phantom Pain.
Yeah, it took me 2 weeks, but around all the stuff I was doing, it took me ages. I'm not gonna power through a game for the sake of it. The first time you experience it, you never get that back.
Right.
You need to play it as it is.
I was corrupt by the power of Sauron, so it's not my fault. But no, but I agree with you. I mean, I don't regret doing it, but I always encourage people, take your time, man. Enjoy it, go through it. like you were saying.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
Yeah. But, all right, cool. Dude, I guess, if you don't mind taking this next piece.
I will do. So, Konami is still committed to AA Gaming and Metal Gear Solid franchise, Dev says. So, in the wake of rumours that Konami was planning to mostly exit the AA console gaming space, a community manager at the company now says, quote, "Don't believe everything you read in the press," end quote. UK community manager Graham Day claims in a new interview that things have been, quote, "taken out of context," end quote, and also stresses that Metal Gear Solid franchise can continue even if Hideo Kojima is not part of it. So, in an interview with Game On Daily about Kojima's rumoured departure from Konami, Day was asked directly if the Metal Gear series can live on without Kojima. He replied, "Yeah, of course it can. Metal Gear is about the story. It's about the characters," end quote. The interview then jumps in to say that Metal Gear Solid is Kojima's, quote, "baby," end quote, and that it would be tough for someone new to come in and steer the ship. They cited Metal Gear Rising as an example of a third-party development team, which is Platinum Games, working on the franchise without direct and daily involvement from Kojima. And he said, and I quote, "That was an example of the title being taken into a new direction by a separate team with obviously hands in form other parties. And that was in itself a very, very good game as well. And that was obviously led by a completely different team," end quote. Regarding Konami's rumored exit from AA Gaming, Day said, and I quote, "Don't believe everything you read in the press," end quote. "Konami's commitment to console gaming has, quote, never changed," end quote, he claimed. And then it keeps going on and on and on and on. We're not going to keep reading about that.
Yeah, just him saying, "Don't believe what they say." Pro Evolution Soccer's tagline, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. The funniest part of the actual interview is the fact that the interviewer jumped in and said it's Kojima's baby, and he was basically insinuating what everyone was when they would see that interview. Like, no, he's basically stopped and he's like, no.
Did you feel like his fanboy urges took over? Like, fuck you, It's his baby. Like,
and then you basically see like Kojima flying behind him, like Psycho Mantis style from MGS4
with the gas mask.
Yeah, third boy hair. It's like, you don't seem to believe your own eyes. Put the microphone on the floor. Place it as flat as possible.
Yes, that's good. I will now make it move with my mind. You underestimate my power. Or what is it? When you hit him in the game, why? But no, getting back to the story, dude, I'm so happy you and I both clicked on this. When we were like figuring out what we're going to talk about, I mentioned this to Dad, and he's like, "Dude, I read that too. Dog shit, right?" I'm like, "Right?" Like it's too funny to be true. Like they right now, Konami needs to hire, and I'm talking about throughout every single, like the UK branch, the American branch, the Japanese branch, every fucking facet of Konami needs to hire the greatest PR, like, like campaign manager ever, because it's really getting bad. Like, I mean, I'm glad, well, I don't know if I'm glad, but I mean, the fact that they're saying, "Oh, we're not going to stop doing, AAA games," that's interesting, because that's something that was reported a few weeks ago, and all of us were, kind of like, what? Like, this is really weird. I don't know. I mean, I'm almost morbidly curious to see what the first Kojima-less MGS game or Metal Gear game is going to be. I think it's really funny they used Metal Gear Rising as an example. Like, why would you... That game was like...
Metal Gear.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
a great game. Yeah, like, I love it. I love Metal Gear Rising. I think it's a really fun, like, let me just turn off my brain and kick some ass type thing. But, like, you cannot compare, something like the Phantom Pain or, like, Metal Gear Solid, anything that Kojima's made, you can't compare that to Rising. That's weird. That's, like, not the best example that they could use. I don't know what they're going to do with this franchise. I really feel like going forward, all they're going to do is PES and Metal Gear. I don't think we're really... I mean, supposedly we're going to get a new Silent Hill. I think Castlevania is being heavily mothballed. Like that, they got Castlevania, and they, like, basically, they tried with Lords of Shadow to do something, and I guess it wasn't what they wanted, and now they're just kind of like putting it away for like, I don't know, like 5 years or something. That's why that Bloodstained game is being made, because Igarashi's like, fuck this.
Igarashi,
yeah.
Yeah, they're keeping hold of the IPs for the sake of it. I think when Konami eventually does exit, I think they'll sell all the IPs off. But that's going to be a long time. I think a little bit of time from now before they do that. It can live. I mean, like, it's not putting the example of Snake's Revenge of like the example where Konami's made a game without Kojima, because it's been a long time since then. You obviously can bring in other writers and stuff like that, but like even Kojima less Metal Gear games is a hard thing to do, because like the fact is that, like, you know, with Kojima, he's not the only person who'd be writing the games. Like the Phantom Pain shows that, and there's like a million other people working with like Shinkawa and stuff. But take Shinkawa out of the equation, and take out Kojima and some of the other writers. And if you bring in other people, Kojima's always had that kind of like exertive influence, because it's his vision that's being brought to life. It's not those people's. It's the fact that he has final say over everything. Right. If he doesn't like it, he'll pull it. So it's obviously taken into context of what it is. I think, well, I mean, Rising's a spin-off game for what it is, and I really didn't like it that much as a Metal Gear game. The story is fucking atrocious in that game. So I don't know why you even try to cite it. But even the way he says something like, yeah, of course it can. Metal Gear is about the story. It's about the characters. Who create the characters? Who create the story?
But then,
it's been his baby.
Yeah, and then if you know, it's the shittiest part is if you mention that, like, you know, they'll be like, oh yeah, but look, George Lucas sold Star Wars, and it's like, dude, none of those movies that came out yet.
Lucas is a different story. Lucas is a completely different equation, because Lucas still had, even when he stopped directing after 4, he still had very much like creative control over different things and stuff.
Right.
And like, I think Lucas went off the beaten course with like what he was doing, but like the Metal Gear series is something else. Like, it's in a different medium. It's in a different kind of like example. Lucas is a very rare example of something like going crazy. Like, I think the thing is that the first 3 films aren't that bad. They're good. They just don't live up to the par of what you expected.
The prequel.
I feel like with not the first 3 films. The prequel. Fuck me. Just released them 1 through 6. But basically, like, I think with Kojima, I think you really can't make a Metal Gear game without it, because it'd be so hard to do. Making Metal Gear 6 would be like fucking, like, to the point where you're putting the nail in the coffin. To be honest, I want them to make it as well, so they can put the nail in the coffin.
I mean, at this point, I mean, I guess they are going to keep going forward with it. Apparently, that's what it seems at the moment. I don't know. I mean, they've done some. If you look at Castlevania as an example, they did something interesting. I mean, they got this like UK developer to make a Castlevania game, and you know, it wasn't a great game, but it wasn't a bad game either. It was playable. That was their take. They took it away from Igarashi and tried doing that. And if you look at what is the other one? Silent Hill. I'm very unfamiliar with how Silent Hill's been treated. I know their last couple of games have sucked. I don't know if the team behind it left or what the case is. I don't know. I mean, I think they're going down a dark path right now. If I was Konami, I would just sell, you know, off their properties and just focus on, you know, come on, they want to make their health bars and stuff, you know, just sell off the goods and, you know, but like, what is it? Fuck, I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? Oh, well, I was going to make a dumb joke. I was going to say, well, who knows? I mean, maybe in the far future, Hideo Kojima will make, like, aluminum machinery. That'll be the successor to Metal Gear. Aluminum machinery, coming soon. But, yeah, this is like, well, all right, I guess they are going to make it. We'll see what they do. I know they're already hiring, so, you know, who knows? Maybe that'll turn out to be something playable like Lords of Shadow. Maybe it'll turn out to be a dud. I don't know. We'll have to see. But on that note, I guess we'll move on to our movie news, our kind of like last stuff we have set up. Okay, so James Bond. I like James Bond. So Daniel Craig has recently spoken in an interview, and he says that he is not ready to say if he'll do more Bond films. So the 47-year-old actor was being interviewed with a site called Event, and he said it's been getting easier. No, he said it's getting easier because I'm doing less stunt work. I've got so many good doubles. And he went on to say that the training aspect of preparing for the role isn't getting easier, though, and that he's not prepared to make a call about whether he'll stick around once his contract is fulfilled. And he went on to say this: "I worked myself to death. It's getting harder, but such is life. I'll keep going as long as I'm physically able. I'm contracted for one more, but I'm not going to make predictions. These movies don't get made very often. It's just the fourth time for me, a spit in the ocean. If you don't get excited about making a movie of this size with this cast, with Sam Mendes, then go home," which that's such an epic quote. So yeah, at this point, and then the article goes on to say that with the release of Spectre, Daniel Craig is tied with his predecessor, Pierce Brosnan, at having 4 appearances. But he sits behind Sean Connery's 6 and Roger Moore, who, good lord, did 7 of them. And if you see his last one, it's like Roger Moore should not be Bond anymore. Like, I think he was like almost 60 or something. I can't remember, but he was quite old. I don't know. I mean, I think it would be cool if he filled out his contract and he did one more. I haven't seen Spectre. I always thought it'd be really cool because, Casino Royale was like his first movie. It was when they quote unquote rebooted the series, even though it's never really had continuity to begin with. But they kind of started from scratch, and then Quantum of Solace continued it, and Skyfall kind of brought Skyfall. I felt served as a double role. I feel like it was the conclusion to Bond becoming Bond. At the end of that movie, he's Bond. He has Q finally. He has a new M. Like, he becomes the Bond as we remember him. Like, at the end of that film, he even has Moneypenny at the end. So I thought that was such a cool conclusion. But at the same time, Skyfall really also serves as the first in a new trilogy. That now that he is Bond, what are the new adventures he's doing? And honestly, I would love Sam Mendes to do one last film after this, so you could call it the Mendes trilogy. Because I love Sam Mendes. I really like his take on Skyfall. I'm hoping Spectre kicks ass. I mean, it looks like it's going to kick ass. I love Christoph Waltz. He's in it. And I really dig Daniel Craig as Bond. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd have to see Spectre first to really have an opinion on whether I feel he's getting older. I mean, 47, I think he has one more film in him, but I think after that and his contract is over, I don't know if he should really do more, because now he's heading into Roger Moore territory, where, like, you're kind of like staying at the party, you're overstaying your welcome at the party, and you gotta like leave. I don't know. I've always been really down with after Daniel Craig getting. I'm probably gonna butcher his name, but Elda Idris. He plays Heimdall in Thor. The guy who watches the gate. I forgot I'm butchering his name, but I've always felt like he would be an excellent Bond. I mean, he just has the Bond physique and that look, that twinkle in his eye. And he's British, which I don't know if that's I guess European is more of a... Actually, you know what? They asked fucking Mel Gibson to be Bond at one point. They even asked Clint Eastwood at one point. I don't think they care about the Bond's nationality.
Harrison Ford needs to be Bond next.
That'd be terrible. At his age, like, we're complaining about 47-year-old Greg. How old is this guy? He's like 60-something.
Fly, yes. Land, no.
He'll be
That's
like...
the opening of the film.
It's just they literally get Indiana Jones clips and just put them all together, and they're like, it's James Bond.
Directed by George Lucas.
Oh, God. Comes that retirement. I wanted to do it. He's my Bobby De Niro. Well, dude, what's your take on this? What do you think of Craig? Do you think he should stick around?
I think he's got one more film in him. That's what I personally think. I think, as you said, kind of Skyfall sets up almost this new kind of trilogy, with it being the first kind of film in that trilogy. Right. He's not that old. I think he'll get another film out of him, especially with kind of like the development cycle and everything else. Mm-hmm. Yet to see Spectre. So we can't really get an opinion on that. I listened to the new song by Sam Smith. I really wasn't a fan.
Oh, I hated it.
Of that. Yeah, I think like Adele's was really fucking awesome and deserved its Oscar as well. So yeah, I really wasn't a huge fan of that. Obviously, I'm not going to knock the film just for a song, but it kind of like made it a little bit underwhelming. But yeah, I think I'd only be really keen on it if Sam Mendes was directing the next one with Daniel Craig in it. And as long as obviously Spectre's good. But then after that, I'd like it to kind of like change to a new kind of like director, new kind of story.
New Bond,
kind of
new
change.
director.
Yeah. Just kind of give it the full, the full makeup, if you want to put it. And kind of change it. But yeah, I think it's definitely got another Bond in him. Another Bond film in him. Yeah, as you say, you don't want to stay on for too long.
Yeah.
And be like the other Bonds. Like, you want to get out as you can. I don't think he's the best Bond. By far, he's not the best Bond, but still a very good Bond.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, best Bond is a really tough call for me. Sean Connery obviously was the shit.
Connery.
Yeah, Sean Bushy. I must be dreaming. He was. I mean, he was like the epitome. He's set everything up. And then Roger Moore. I actually think that's my dad's favorite Bond is Roger Moore.
Yeah, it's good.
I think he did a great job. I mean, he reinvented Bond, but he also kept this essence of the character. I don't know. That would be really tough for me. I really enjoyed Pierce Brosnan. That's the Bond I grew up with. GoldenEye, I think, is an excellent fucking movie to this day. I love Martin Campbell. That guy is the shit. He did Casino Royale also. He's a fucking amazing director. He also did Mask of Zorro, which is a great movie. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough call. But yeah, I agree with you. I think he should definitely stick around for another ride. And then I think after that, they do need to kind of have him regenerate, if you would. I still have a theory that he's Bond is a Time Lord. I have a theory about that. I've jokingly said it, but I think it makes sense if you think about it. All right, so cool. We'll go on to our last piece of movie news and our last piece of news period. So very, very cool piece, but Ridley Scott recently spoke about the Blade Runner sequel and plot details on what it was called Prometheus 2. Now it's called Alien Paradise Lost, which makes me really excited. So this is what he went on to say. It says here he's made some interesting claims about the upcoming Prometheus sequel, including revealing the title to be Alien Paradise Lost. He also said that two more films in the series will follow it, and that it will connect right back to Ripley and the original Alien design. So I think that's really intriguing. So in an interview with Yahoo, Ridley Scott said the following: "Have you ever read Paradise Lost by Milton? In a funny and this is him talking, I'm not asking a question. In a funny kind of way, it's an interesting basis for the darkness of Prometheus 2, where the good-looking guy who is evil as shit gets all the girls and goes to the nightclubs. The other guy who is not quite as good looking is boring as hell and stays home. So in a funny kind of way, we use that as a basis for it. It'll be Alien Paradise Lost, which is very spooky because it continues after the last one, where Elizabeth Shaw says, I want to go where they came from. And you've got Michael Fassbender in two parts, so she'll slowly be putting him back together. They will go to the world of the engineer. That's where they're going to go. They will find out who would design such an awful biomechanoid creature like a massive piece of bacteria. And then he went on to talk about the Blade Runner sequel. And he said there's potential for more films to follow in that series as well. He said everyone else is, so why not? I love to work. The French say work to live, and I live to work. I'm very lucky to have a job that I adore. All my kids do the same thing. So it's trying, but it's like being in professional sport. It's so competitive that you better keep bouncing the ball. You can't rest. And this is funny. Scott went on to talk about Harrison Ford's reaction to the script. And he said, Harrison said, meh. And I said, no, read this. And I think he said, this is the best script I've ever had. We've been working on it for a couple of years. And this is really funny. The director also went on to echo his belief that Ford's Deckard was a replicant in the first film. And he said, of course he's a bloody replicant. He's going to have to admit it. You'll have to see the story. It'll all make sense. Yeah, that's pretty much all he says. He also has one last quote here that he says the setting will line up the release to the original film and the present day. He says it was 2017, the original film, so coming back it'll be 2047, roughly. As young as you could play Ryan Gosling, he's 34, but he looks 27 when he's doing push-ups, so maybe 2050. I don't get why he said that. That's pretty funny. But yeah, so that's pretty much all he said, and of course Alien Paradise Lost is set to begin production in early 2016, and Michael Fassbender and Noomi Rapace are coming back. And Blade Runner is scheduled to start in summer 2016, and actually it's going to be directed by Denis Villeneuve. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Who's worked with Ridley Scott in the past on other projects. So yeah, it's Man, let me tell you, I like this idea of Alien Paradise Lost. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, do you how are they going to do that? Is it going to be more of an Alien movie then? I guess.
He's fucked that up so much.
Yeah,
like, he really
right?
has. Like the way he's phrased things, he's like, "Oh, it's not an Alien sequel, Prometheus." Yeah, but there's a xenomorph at the end of it. Don't worry about that. And then he's kind of like, "Yeah, now we're making Alien Paradise Lost." It's kind of like it's the same thing with the Zack Snyder Man of Steel thing. So just be clear with it. Obviously, you had an intention of making that into an Alien prequel, and because the reception was pretty poor, you're kind of backtracking now on it. It's kind of already a mess. And the fact that it's already a direct continuation from Prometheus, because as you said, that the characters carry on, that means that it is part of the Alien universe.
Yeah,
You're
so
making more Alien film.
Yeah, like how the fuck does that work? Like, going into Alien Paradise Lost, are you going to be confused? Are you going to be like, what the fuck is this? Or is it going to be set up that you could ignore Prometheus, even though now it's definitely... they've always said Prometheus was part of the universe, but not important to Alien. But now I'm thinking, no, it kind of is important to Alien. What are you talking about? Like, why'd you call it Prometheus? Like, I think the original title was Alien Genesis. Like, maybe they were, I don't know, maybe they saw the future.
maybe they saw Terminator and they stopped.
Yeah, they saw the future and they're like, no, and let's not spell it.
Maybe we should call it Genesis. Alien Genesis.
And that guy got fired. Ridley Scott fired that guy. Get out of my office.
I'm definitely intrigued. The more I watch Prometheus, the more I kind of have a different kind of view on it. Mm-hmm. I just feel like the ending really pissed me off because like, just why don't you just say it's Alien? And then instead of coming out of it, it's like, no, it's not. This is something else. And blah blah. But it's like, yeah, there's a xenomorph right at the end. The kind of story like kind of collapses towards the end for some reason, as well, like bad writing and everything else. But yeah, I'd definitely be down for it as long as it has the right direction. It doesn't do another fucking Man of Steel or Prometheus by saying, "Oh, it's not this now, it's not this, not this."
Yeah,
because that's I always believe those kind of like James Cameron and Ridley Scott films always had this kind of great universe you can expand on. Just that it's a shame a lot of shit films have come out of it because of it.
Yeah, I mean, man, dude, like, I feel like directors are almost getting afraid to say what's what because they don't want to like confuse audiences. So they don't want to say like. It's almost like they don't want to piss off either camp. Like, Scott's like, it's not Prometheus. Prometheus has nothing to do with Alien. So that people who maybe, I don't know, they don't care about Alien can go and see it. But then he's like, well, it was fucking xenomorph at the end. It was, fucking, and you see the engineer ship. And it's like, come on, man. Just give us a straight-up answer. And the same thing with Snyder, how he's saying, like, well, I guess it is a Man of Steel sequel, but I'd be very curious to see what a solo Superman sequel would be. And I'm like, what does that mean? So, yeah, I mean, I'm very curious. I think I'm more excited about Alien Paradise Lost than Prometheus because they're being a lot more frank with it, and they're saying this is Alien, and I think he's a little bit crazy what was his idea? We're gonna do an Alien, like another movie after that, 2 other movies or some shit like that. Like, why? Why do we need 4 prequels? Like, what the hell? Lucas only did 3. Why do we need 4?
Yeah.
And what do you think, man? Do you think this is going to play into the Alien movie that dude Neil Bruckheim, I think is his name, that he's working on? Do you remember that? Like, how does that affect that? Right? Because that one straight up has Sigourney Weaver in it, and they're older, and I guess it's a continuation post Alien Resurrection or something.
Yeah, possibly. I don't think they thought this far ahead. It might be a Josh Whedon when he just sits in the theater and watches it. He's like, oh shit, he's taking the thing out. He's taking the second mouth out of the xenomorph. Shit. I don't think they thought that far, but I think that will be kind of taken into consideration as well.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just completely. I think the stories are kind of separately far apart as well. Maybe in the years and stuff, so they might kind of like be able to get away with it.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I mean, come on, if the MCU can have, like, fucking Ant-Man, and then you could also have, like, Guardians of the Galaxy, I think we could have, like, 2 Alien movies set in... I think audiences are getting a little bit smarter to the whole concept of, like, big universes and multiple timelines and shit. I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll pull a Kojima, and they'll just go back and forth in the timeline. You have the Numi Rapace story, and then you have the Sigourney Weaver story. It's like the Big Boss and the Solid Snake,
Yeah.
And at the end, it'll turn out that it's... Well, wait, fuck. I almost spoiled stuff. I almost spoiled the Phantom Pain. You know what I was going to say, right?
Yeah,
You saw where I was
moving on.
Yeah, let's move on.